Hello, everybody. Welcome to GM Sports Report, your weekly podcast on all things sports where every play counts. I'm Grant, and I'm here with my co-host Mason as we get ready to cover the latest news, headlines, and upcoming events going on in the sports world. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see all things GM Sports Report. Mason, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, Grant. How are you?
I'm doing good. We got a lot to talk about. Baseball season has begun. Some basketball stuff to talk about, and then some March Madness. The Final Four has been set, so we'll be talking about that later in the episode. So, with that being said, we'll go ahead and start with our hot take of the week. Mason, go ahead.
Yeah, so with the starting of the MLB happening, we got a chance to see some of the walkouts, and I think that Mason Miller's walkout was one of the best in the MLB. I it just as soon as I heard it, I was like, wow, okay. If I was a batter, like I wouldn't want to go anywhere near, like I'd be terrified. We kind of saw this with Edwin Diaz with the trumpets a few seasons ago. He still has it, but I think it's just the fact that it's kind of known now, and it also might just be because he's on the Dodgers. I feel like hit is hard, but
Yeah.
Mason Miller, kind of came out of nowhere. But yeah, just shout out to him, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great entrance, very electric the first time that they did it. Obviously, it's starting to become more of a thing now. If you're a good closer, you got to have a good closer entrance. So it's kind of cool seeing
Hmm.
all these different players like be creative because obviously the batters get their moments with their walk up songs. So it's cool to see stuff like this.
Yep.
All right. For my hot take of the week, there's been a narrative going around that the Pistons are only good because Cade Cunningham is on their team, and I think that narrative can finally be put to rest because the Pistons are now 8-2 without Cade Cunningham. Obviously, Cade is suffering with that lung injury right now. He's out indefinitely, but the Pistons have still been right there in the mix. They're still first in the East as they've been all season long, and they have guys that step up. Dennis Jenkins, who is a player that doesn't even play much when Cade Cunningham is healthy. He comes into the starting lineup and he gives you 19.8 points, 8 assists, and playing 30 minutes a game in Cade's absences this season. So he's really stepped it up. Guys like Jalen Duren, obviously, Asor Thompson, Kevin Horter has had a couple big games without this Cade Cunningham injury, and Duncan Robinson obviously stepping in, and even guys like Paul Reed, who we haven't heard much of, are having big games. So I think it's finally time we just give this Detroit Pistons teams their flowers, that they are a good basketball team that has a good depth of role players that know how to do their jobs. Because it seems like all season long, it's just Cade, it's just Cade. But now as time goes on, we're starting to see that this Pistons team is a real threat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't have anything to add on to that?
No, no. I mean, I didn't even believe like what I said last time. It was just engagement bait, I guess. But
Okay.
you've been holding it against me the whole time, and I'm like, dude, like, it's not even how it is.
No, it is a narrative that has been pushed around the
It is
NBA a
though.
little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, 8-2, that's a great record. So I just thought it was
Yep.
interesting to talk about. Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
all right, we'll go ahead and slide over to our underdog of the week now. Mason, I'll let you go ahead and take that away.
Yeah, so my underdog is a guy who I'm really excited to watch more of. He kind of did well last season too. He's a younger guy in the MLB on the Seattle Mariners, and that's Cole Young. Last night he had 3 hits and an RBI, and the win over the Yankees. Cal really had the walk off, but keeping it a close game, he really did everything that he could. I remember everyone kind of saw his call up video. I believe a few years ago, and how emotional that was. But he's a great guy and he's a great player as well. So shout out to Cole Young.
All right, nice. I'm also going with the MLB player for my underdog of the week, and that is the Washington Nationals outfielder Joey Weimer, who
Hmm.
has started out the season getting on base all 10 of his first 10 plate appearances, and that went on to tie Carlos Delgado's all-time record in 2002. So just some crazy stuff that we saw from him. I watched it firsthand in the Cubs series. He had a couple home runs in that series. Obviously was perfect on getting on base in that series, and he did not get on an 11th straight time, so he didn't break the record, but he did tie it, which is pretty impressive. 10 for 10 in your first plate appearance, 10 plate appearances.
Yeah, that's insane. I saw he's like batting 800 too. Just
Yes, yeah.
unreal.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right. Now we'll go ahead and slide over to the NBA, and we'll just give our player and our team of the week. So, Mason, I'll let you go ahead and begin with your player of the week.
Yeah, so my player of the week is Nikola Jokic, 26 points per game, 17 rebounds per game, and 14 assists per game. So he's kind of getting back into that mode that we've known him to be in. Um, and I'm hoping that he can close out the season strong and follow through with the playoffs.
Yeah, I also went with Nikola Jokic mainly because I didn't want to pick the other person that won conference
I
player of the
agree.
week. Um, but yeah, he's looked really good, and honestly, his stats are significantly better than Tatum's have been this last week. I mean, he's averaging 26 points, 17 rebounds, 14 assists. That's just absurd. That's well over a
Yep.
triple double. He's looked fantastic lately. Like you said, he's kind of been dealing with some weird injuries this season, so he's been missing time here and there. So to see him finally start to get into that Jokic form has been fun to watch. So we'll see what he can do as we get down the stretch here. All right, now we'll go ahead and do our team of the week. So who's your team of the week?
I feel like it's just been alternating. It's just been these two teams the entire time. So last week I went with the Thunder. This week I'm going to go with the Spurs. They're 9-1, 2.5 games back from the first place seed. Um, I'm really hoping they can make a push for it, but OKC has been doing their thing as well. So yeah, shout out Spurs 9-1 in the last 10.
Yeah, I looked at the standings and saw that there's 3 teams in the West that are 9-1 in their last 10. So I think all 3 of those teams deserve to get shouted out, and that's obviously OKC, the Spurs, and the Los Angeles Lakers. They've all just been
Mm-hmm.
playing incredible basketball. It's really going to be such a crazy Western Conference playoffs this season. I'm very excited to see how it transpires. I'm even excited to see if the Spurs can end up getting the 1 seed because they are only 3 games back, I believe,
Yeah.
right now. So it's going to be a fun race to the finish line here as we get down to, I think, the last 8 games of the season. I'm not 100% sure. I got to double check, but
Yeah.
um, nearing the end of the season, and it's been fun to watch this Western Conference form. So, yeah, those are my 3 teams of the week, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and slide over to the MLB, and we'll do the same thing, player of the week and team of the week. Mason, who is your player of the week?
My player of the week is a guy who's I feel like been underappreciated the entire time, or the last 2 seasons at least, and that's Yandy Diaz. He is batting 550 right now, 11 RBIs and 6 hits. So he's batting for efficiency, which is you love to see it. The Rays have not been are probably not going to be as great as they were last season, but he's still an exciting player. He brings the juice. And he hits for power as well. And if you can get the contact behind him for this season, I think it's going to be a very fun season to watch from him.
Yeah, I appreciate Yandy Diaz's game a lot. Like you said, very underrated player. But since
Hmm.
we usually go to a couple Rays games this season, we kind of know more about him. And it feels like every time we go to a Rays
Yeah,
game, he either has a big hit, like as a home run, or he has a
two
couple
home
hits in
run.
that
Yeah.
game. Yeah. Last game we went to was the Tigers and Rays, and he had a 2 home run performance. So very underrated player in this league. So I like that pick. Um, for my player of the week, I'll go over some honorable mentions because I feel like a lot of players have come hot out the gate here. I loved seeing Mike Trout's amazing start to this season. Seeing him, obviously, we know what he's dealt with through his career. So seeing him start off hot has been fun to see. Owen Casey for the Marlins has had a great start. Sal Stewart has had a good start. Obviously, Joey Weimer, like we were talking about. Munetaka Murakami is an interesting one. Had 3 home runs in his first 3 games, but the guy that I'm ultimately going to pick is Chase DeLauder for the Cleveland Guardians. Rookie has looked incredible in his first, I think, 4 games of the season. He's batting 353, has 4 home runs and 5 RBIs, and he had that 2 home run game against the Seattle Mariners. So just a really hot start. Obviously, he was kind of memed in the beginning of his career because his MLB debut was in the playoffs, and he had that error out in center field. Didn't really hit good in the
Oh
playoffs,
yeah.
so kind of struggled for them. So to see him start out the gate so hot, show why he's one of their top prospects. That's been fun to see. So yeah, shout out Chase DeLauder. That is my player of the week.
Nice.
All right, and now we'll go ahead and do our team of the week. So Mason, who's your team of the week?
So I obviously have a biased pick, but I'm gonna go with the unbiased pick just off of record, and that is the Miami Marlins. They're on a 3-1 start. Sure, the 3 wins that they have are the Colorado Rockies, but still, it's 3-1. I'm sure you want to win every game you play. You can't choose who you play. So for them to start like that, I think that's great for them. And my other one is obviously the Yankees. They are on a 3-1 start as well. They have only allowed 3 runs in their first 4 games. 11-run differential, which is the top third best, I believe, in the league so far. So again, it's very early. A lot can change. We know how this seems to go. So yeah, those are my I guess teams of the week.
Yeah, something that I thought was interesting was there's not a single undefeated team anymore. So
No, no.
yeah, every team has now lost a game. I feel like usually it lasts a little bit longer than like the first 4 games. So
Hmm.
it's kind of crazy to see that happen. But rather than picking a team of the week, I kind of just picked a division of the week because if you looked at the NL East, which I said in the last
Yeah.
video, I think is going to be the best division in baseball. They have 4 teams that are 3-1 right now. Obviously, the Marlins, like you stated, the Washington Nationals, which I don't think a lot of people had in their cards, the New York Mets, and the Atlanta Braves are all 3-1 right now. So a very great start for that division, and we'll see if they continue to, dominate as far as a division goes in the MLB. So yeah, that's my, I guess, teams of the week.
Yeah.
All right, and then this is going to be a shorter episode because there's not as much to talk about. So finally, we're going to slide over to March Madness. The Final
Hold
Four
on,
has
you
been
missed one.
set. What
You
did I
missed
miss?
one.
Oh, yes. All right, sorry. In
I
the
want to talk
MLB,
about that.
okay, yeah. Sorry. And the MLB, obviously, the biggest headline has been the ABS system, the challenges. There's been a lot of talks about it. So, Mason, what are your thoughts on this ABS system right now? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Do you think there needs to be any changes? Kind of just let me know what you're thinking about this right now.
So right now, I love it. I think it's great. Um, it's a really a big momentum changer. I saw at least just one at bat where Judge was called for a strike. He did the ABS. He challenged it. He got it, and then believe like the next pitch or the second pitch, he hit his first home run of the season. So it just goes to show how there's more life that can be brought to by challenging these horrible calls at the end of the day. But something I saw that I believe a lot of people are critiquing is the time that it takes and that it can kind of drag a little bit, which I mean I get, but it's ultimately like in any other sport to where you call a timeout, the batter steps off the bag or the pitcher steps off the bag or something like that. It's kind of like the same thing. So I don't really understand that critique as much, but so far I really like it and I don't see too many downsides on it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I especially agree with the part where you're saying how I've seen this multiple times where a pitch it'll be like a 2-2 count or something or a 2-1 count,
Mhm.
and a call
Mhm.
will get challenged and it'll be overturned, and then the next pitch happens and a big hit happens or a home run happens or the guy walks and gets on base and it sparks a rally. It's really cool to
Yep.
see that happen because I mean, how many times have we seen like bases loaded
Just
and late in a
dies.
game and
Yeah.
someone
Just
strikes out
dies.
looking on a pitch that shouldn't be called a strike? So it's going to be great in that aspect. And I just kind of have some fun stats out there right now. Um, so far for batters that have challenged, the results are they are 33 for 78. So they're under 50%. They're at 42% right now. Catchers have the best percentage, challenging 59 for 92 at 64% right now. And pitchers have only
Mhm.
challenged 5 times, 2 for 5 at 40%. So that's some fun stats there. Here's another fun stat. Kind of, we saw the meme with CB Buckner the other game against with the Reds where he missed 8 calls. Some of these older
Yeah,
umpires are
yeah.
going through it right now. In the 35 games played in the MLB so far, out of the overturned calls, 69% of them are from the 10 oldest umpires in baseball, and 39% of them are from the 10 youngest umpires in baseball. So I thought that was kind of a fun stat. Um, and the best successful batter right now to challenge balls and strikes is Mike Trout, who is 3-4.
Okay.
It has a 75% chance. So just some fun stats to throw out there. I think it's going to be fun to kind of track these ABS stats
Oh,
as they go.
I love
Um,
stats. That's just even
yeah,
a whole nother category to bring to light, and it helps
yeah.
the batters and it helps the pitchers and the catchers as well because it's like, okay, I know what I'm talking about, and it can help with contracts. It can help, getting trades and things like that to where
Mm,
you know the
yeah.
game.
Yeah, for sure. And then it's also kind of fun to see now. We've kind of had our first couple of players, Josh Bell and Jazz Chisholm, who have now argued with the ABS system instead of the umpire, which has been kind of a funny thing to see, where a call's been overturned and they're blaming it on the computer now. And it's just kind of funny to see this all happen. It's all still so
Of
new.
course,
So,
Jazz is there.
yeah. All right, now we'll go ahead and slide over to March Madness. The Final Four has been set. It's going to be Illinois versus UConn and Michigan versus Arizona. We'll start with Illinois versus UConn. Mason, who do you have winning this game?
I think it's going to be a great game. I really think both of these games are going to be, classics. UConn is coming off of probably the best win in the tournament so far, in my opinion, especially against a loaded Duke, which seems to go down in insane fashion almost every year. They have just probably one of the overpowered rosters year in and year out, and then they always find a way to just lose it. And UConn just absolutely perfectly execute what they needed to do. I'd love to see them win it. I had not watched too much Illinois. I know that they're a great team, but I'm going with UConn for that game.
Yeah, I mean, after the win that UConn just had against Duke, being
Yeah,
down by so much, having that crazy shot, forcing that turnover in the first place to even be able
yeah,
to take a game-winning shot. Um,
full court
I
press.
have
Yeah,
to go with UConn. They also have the experience. It seems like they're always in. They always make deep runs in these tournaments. Obviously, their head coach is probably the best head coach in college basketball right now. So I think they have the experience, the grit to get it done. Illinois has had a great run to get here. They've looked very impressive. They've had very commanded wins and have played some really good basketball. But I just think as far as momentum goes, UConn has more of it, and I'm just going to go with them at the end of the day.
hmm
All right, and then we'll go into the 2-1 seeds going against each other: Michigan versus Arizona.
I think I think Arizona really wanted to see Tennessee beat Michigan because that would have been the easier game for them to make it to the finals. But Michigan absolutely killing Tennessee by over 30 to make it to where they are now. It's just the dominance that they've shown. I'm probably gonna have to go with Michigan, especially this late into the postseason for them. So, I mean, Arizona's a great team. Don't get me wrong. They've looked fantastic, but Michigan just being absolutely dominant and having that culture behind them, I think, can push them into the finals.
Yeah. For my pick, to be fair, I've watched a lot more Arizona than I have Michigan. I did see the Michigan obviously blowing out in their last game, but I am gonna pick Arizona. I feel like Arizona's been the best college team, like as a whole, for the whole season. They've been very impressive this season. They have guys like Braden Berries and Jaden Bradley who have looked very good in this run. So I'm gonna go with Arizona, but that's just solely because I've seen Arizona play more than I've seen Michigan play.
hmm
So it's kind of more from a casual aspect. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan goes out and wins. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like with this March Madness, I mean, obviously UConn had the big upset over Duke, but I feel like there hasn't been as big of upsets as there usually is in previous years.
No, not this deep into the bracket. I would think because in the beginning of the bracket, obviously when there's all 64 teams,
Right.
I think that there was a lot more kind of happening. There's more upsets and all that, but now, yeah, you're right. This is like the biggest that we've had.
Yeah, and then something crazy that you actually pointed out last night was that the women's bracket, it's all four teams in the final four are one seeds. That's crazy. I don't know. I need to fact check it, but I feel like that has to be the first time that's ever
Probably.
happened. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's even awesome just to get one side of the bracket to have 2 1s going against each other, even in the men's league. So, and I think it'll be one of those classics to where it shows, it shows that they're both supposed to be there.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see these final 4 games be played and get to talking about the championship game. But that's pretty much going to wrap up this episode. So thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of GM Sports Report, where every play counts. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to be able to see our weekly episodes on all things sports. For additional content, check the description to see links to our Instagram and TikTok account. This is Grant and Mason. Sign off for now. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, guys.